Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today, I have a very troubling, terrifying upload to share with you. Before we get into it, though, a couple links I'd like to share. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch store to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Those links are in the description below. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1, 2, and 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeffrey Nadolny. They are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes. The links to those are also in the description as well. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with today's upload. Shall we? Alright, so for a while now, I've been really diving into these unexplained, unknown animal attacks on humans. Also, I've been looking at a lot of the missing people and the no explanation for them. I believe that 60 to 70% are Dogman, Bigfoot related. I believe that these creatures are hunting us when we go in the woods, the national woods, the state woods, wherever. And a YouTuber, a travel YouTuber, just went missing in a very interesting and historic national park, I guess. The Grand Teton. So let's check this out because a lot of it is not really making sense to me. And I want to share with you the information that I've gathered today and see what you guys think. Saturday, September 18th, 2021. Missing travel blogger Gabby Petito is one of 3 people who have gone missing near the Grand Teton Park this summer. The family reported the 22-year-old missing on September 11th after her fiancé, Brian Lundre, returned from the couple's truck trip across country without her. The couple had traveled from New York to Salt Lake in Utah, the last place Miss Petito was seen before her disappearance. After leaving Salt Lake City, the couple is believed to have made their way to Wyoming. In a phone call to his mother on August 25th, Petito said he was in Grand Teton National Park, Wyoming. Her mother, Nicole Schmidt, said she received a text from her daughter on August 30th that said, "There is no service in Yosemite." However, he has since said that he does not believe that message was sent by his daughter, and authorities are treating Grand Teton National Park as the last confirmed location of Petito's whereabouts. While authorities are searching for Miss Petito, 2 other travelers have been reported missing there this summer, although authorities currently do not believe the disappearances are related. The first is Kane McLaughlin, 27, who was reported missing in June after hiking in the area. New York Post reports he was seen on June 7th with a backpack while walking towards Taggart Lake. But despite numerous tips and helicopter searches of the area, he was not found. The second person to go missing from the area this summer is Robert Lowry, 46, who was last seen on August 19th at Jackson Hole Mountain Resort in Teton Village while listening to a ping from his phone on August 23rd. This weekend, police announced that they are also looking for Petito's fiancé, Mr. Landry, whose family said they've not seen him since last Tuesday. So far, Mr. Landry has not cooperated with the police investigating Miss Petito's disappearance and has been named as a person of interest in the case. First and foremost, I am not saying that the Dogman / Sasquatch is responsible for Gabby Petito for her disappearance. A lot of questions have not been answered, and a lot of things don't make sense with that case. But I'm talking about the two that I just shared with you, the Kane McLaughlin and Robert Lowry. These people, two people, have gone missing in that park about 2 months apart. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but there's been a lot of missing people in that area, and it's pretty freaking crazy. Let's get a little bit familiarized with the Grand Teton. Grand Teton National Park is an American national park in northwestern Wyoming. At approximately 310,000 acres, the park includes the major peaks of a 40-mile-long Teton Ridge as well as most of the northern sections of the valley known as Jackson Hole. Grand Teton National Park is only 10 miles south of Yellowstone National Park, to which it is connected by the National Park Service-managed John D. Rockefeller Jr. Memorial Parkway. Along with surrounding national forests, these three protected areas constitute the almost 18 million acre Greater Yellowstone ecosystem, one of the world's largest intact mid-latitude temperate ecosystems. Human history of the Grand Teton region dates back to at least 11,000 years, when the first nomadic gatherer-hunter Paleo-Indians began migrating into the region during the warmer months, pursuing food and supplies. In the early 19th century, the first white explorers encountered the eastern Shoshone natives. Between 1810 and 1840, the region attracted fur trader companies and vied for control of the lucrative beaver pelt trade. The government expeditions to the region commenced in the mid-1900s as an offshoot of the exploration in Yellowstone, with the first permanent white settlers in Jackson Hole arriving in 1880. The Grand Teton National Park is an almost pristine ecosystem, and the same species of flora and fauna that have existed since prehistoric time can still be found there. More than 1,000 species of vascular plants, dozens of species of mammals, 300 species of birds, more than a dozen fish species, and a few species of reptile and amphibian inhabit the park. Due to various changes in the ecosystem, some of them human-induced efforts have been made to provide enhanced protection to some species of the native fish and increasingly threatened whitebark pine. The Grand Teton Park is a popular destination for mountaineering, hiking, fishing, and other forms of recreation. There are more than 1,000 drive-in campsites and over 200 miles of hiking trails that provide access to backcountry camping areas. Noted for world-renowned trout fishing, the park is one of the few places to catch Snake River fine spotted cutthroat trout. Grand Teton has several National Park Service run visitor centers and privately operated concessions for motels, lodges, gas stations, and marinas. So, three things that popped out about the Grand Teton. The first was it's absolutely friggin' enormous and connected to the Yellowstone ecosystem, which we all know the Yellowstone National Park is very beautiful, but there has been numerous encounters and experiences with creatures such as Dogman, Sasquatch, and what have you. Yellowstone has one of the largest supervolcanoes underneath it, which there are a lot of crystals and stuff, which I believe portals exist in that area. If not a lot of them, because of the natural power. Nature's power is right there. I mean, you have a huge furnace pretty much under the ground, just immense power, crystals, everything there. Perfect place for portals, guys. 11,000 years ago, Paleo Indians migrated there. Indian lore. Some say that the natives who crossed the Bering Strait on that land bridge walked hand in hand with Sasquatch or Dogman-like people. That's pretty interesting. But the one thing that popped out was this sentence. The park is an almost pristine ecosystem, and the same species of flora and fauna existed since prehistoric times can be found there. Huge, huge place. 18 million acres, or 310,000 acres just in the Grand Teton, but prehistoric fauna and flora. So let's just, I'm gonna shoot straight. Let's say Sasquatch and these Dogman-like people that crossed over with the Bering Strait Native Americans, the Paleo Indians, had to hide. They had to hide because they were getting hunted by early man or whatever. This would be almost the perfect place for them to hide. So much of it has not even been touched by man yet. So it makes sense, right? To me, it does. Now, just this year, just this summer, 3 people have gone missing. But here's a little rundown of some. The search continued on Friday for missing Kane McLaughlin of 27, who has not been seen since June 8th of 2021 when he went hiking the Grand Teton National Park. While it is not uncommon for people to go missing in the park, it is more unusual for them to stay missing and never been found. McLaughlin is currently the only person missing in Grand Teton, according to Missing NPF, a centralized database of people who have gone missing at the national park and forests. However, there are currently 3 people who were last seen at Yellowstone National Park and never seen again. Stuart Isaac, 2010, Bruce Pike, 2006, Daniel Campbell, 1991, with Yellowstone sprawling over 2 million acres. It is impossible for search teams to look in every nook and cranny throughout the park, especially in the days with less or no technology. Now, this article was written in June 18th of 2021, so Mr. Lowry has not been added to that. But Mr. Stuart Isaac, went missing in 2010, 48 at the time of his disappearance, a Maryland native, and drove around 32 hours from his home to the park. He's been missing since September 26th, 2010, according to Missing NPF. It wasn't clear why he went to the park. He wasn't an experienced outdoorsman. While on his way to the park at around 3:30 in the morning, September 24th, 2010, he called a high school friend to whom he spoke to at least 2 hours. The friend was surprised to hear from him, as they normally communicated through emails and texts. On September 26th, Isaac's black Lexus sedan was found at Craig Press, Yellowstone, off of Grand Loop. No signs of him or human remains were spotted when search teams looked for him. Mr. Bruce Pike of 2006, 47 at the time of his disappearance, was last seen at Indian Creek Campground on August 2nd. His vehicle was found abandoned in the park. Not much information is available in Pike's case, according to the Charlie Project. Texas authorities are also investigating his disappearance. And then Daniel Campbell, 42 at the time, last seen on April 4th, 91. He and his Australian Shepherd dog were dropped off at a trailhead on Hell Roaring Creek, possibly with the intent to collect deer antlers. He was reported missing 4 days later, but no sign of him or his dog has ever been found. This case from 2016, Grand Teton National Park rangers have located the body that meets the description of missing hiker and climber Renee Drelling on the north side of Mount Owen on a rocky cliff band beneath steep snowfields. The body was located at approximately 7 at night on Sunday, September 4th. During an aerial reconnaissance flight, rangers will attempt to recover the body today if weather conditions allow. Grand Teton National Park Superintendent David Vela said, "We extend our thoughts and prayers to Renee's family and to the Grand Teton Lodge Company." Drelling, a 21-year-old male from Denver, Colorado, and a summer employee of the Grand Teton Lodge Company, was reported missing Friday, September 2nd, when he didn't show up for his scheduled shift. Park Service investigation determined that he was last seen on Wednesday morning, August 31st. Along with northwest shore of Jenny Lake, Drelling had discussed plans to climb Table Mountain and several peaks in Hanging Canyon prior to departing this trip. Approximately 100 individuals had been involved for searching for him. Superintendent Vela expressed his appreciation on behalf of the park to all of those that contributed their time with this incident. Vela also commends park staff for their leadership and commitment during a difficult situation. Park rangers encourage all hikers and climbers to share their planned route of travel and expected return time with someone prior to departure. Now, like I said, I don't believe that Gabby Petito was harmed by a Sasquatch / Dogman. Robert Lowry, her companion and boyfriend, he left and has not been seen since returning. I'm not even gonna speculate on that because it's a horrible case, and I really hope that they find this young woman's body for the benefit of the family. But the two cases that happened this summer, the Lowry, a visitor from Texas, has been missing in Jackson Hole for over 2 weeks. Had never been to Jackson before and potentially had plans to go camping, according to his sister. Lowry, brown hair, blue eyes, last seen wearing a black baseball hat with the letter P, a down vest, plaid shirt, blue jeans, according to Sheriff's Deputy Chad Sesh. Lowry was last seen August 19th on video at Pistee Mountain Bistro at Jackson Hole Mountain Resort. Another video shows Lowry entering a lift with a black Nike duffel bag. In an attempt to locate Lowry, the sheriff's office pinged his cell phone. The last ping was August 23rd in Jackson. His phone no longer working or trackable. Before Lowry left Houston, he canceled his mail. Deputies say his sister said he recently acquired a sleeping bag and a tent, but had no camping experience. Well, that really doesn't mean that he can't go camping, but he's just not an outdoorsy person. Maybe he wanted to go camping. Kane McLaughlin, who had been missing since June, was seen around 2:30 in the afternoon, June 8th, hiking up from Lapine Meadows trailhead wearing shorts, tank top, bucket hat, and sunglasses. Park's spokesman, CJ Adams, said he was last seen late in the afternoon or early evening, June 8th, hiking the south side of Bradley, Taggart, Morin, headed south toward Taggart Lake. He's 6 foot, 27 years old. He didn't have a backpack, according to a local resident who crossed paths with McLaughlin on the trail. Since he was reported missing, 4 days after he was last seen on June 8th, Park's investigation team spoke with more than 140 people. More than 45 helicopter search missions were conducted using RICO, or rescue technology, and thermal imaging cameras. Teton Park officials scaled back the efforts after a week of intense searching involving dozens of park staff. Now, like I said, I don't believe that Sasquatch or Dogman had anything to do with Gabby, but there is something out there stalking humans, hikers, campers, fishermen in the Grand Tetons. I truly, truly believe that. I believe that, honestly. I'll tell you. I'll cut the bullshit and spit it out. I believe that these portals that are out there are opening up occasionally, and a lot of people are getting hunted by something that comes out of them, or either Dogman or Sasquatch, or possibly walking into them. In my eyes, that makes sense for me. And I get tongue-tied when I have these uploads because as I'm trying to share my thoughts, my brain just races because it's frustrating. It's frustrating that we cannot go and enjoy our parks. Our country is beautiful. We have so many different ecosystems in this beautiful country that we live in, and we can't enjoy what we have without being worried of becoming a statistic. And then when we do become a statistic, we have to worry about the government lying about what really happened. And unfortunately, I don't believe that we are even close to a admission from the government that these things occur, that these things exist, that yes, there are creatures out there hunting human beings. And that the simple fact is because the government is the Almighty, and they won't let anything step in that path. So lie to their, I guess, servants, us, and get rid of us, or population control. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just getting I'm honestly sick of reading new reports of missing people, new reports of animal attacks, air quotes on animal, because it's absolutely disgusting. And like I said it, God darn it, I said it at the beginning of the year. This is going to be a bad year for people outdoors. People were trapped in their homes for a year, and when the ban was lifted and we could go outside and enjoy ourselves, these things were hungry. They were hungry out there. And yes, they do have deer and other to hunt, but it just seems like, why hunt a deer when you could hunt a human? A deer is much faster than we are. Maybe they have the taste for us by now. I don't know. None of it makes sense. None of it. It's fucking disgusting, and we need to put an end to it. I think I am gonna come up with some sort of petition and have you guys, or put it out for people to sign and send it out to whoever will listen and say, hey, we need to know what's stalking people out. Why are these people missing? Why are so many people missing? What is going on? Is there something out there stalking us? Yes, there is. But that's something that, we can't outright say Dogman, Sasquatch. We kind of have to be subtle or play the layman or dumb one, as the government likes to look at us as. So I don't know. Anyway, just be safe, guys. Be kind to each other, and always be aware of your settings. Anyway, I don't know. I'm frustrated now, so I gotta let you guys go for the day. I will have some encounters to share tomorrow. Actually, I can't end it that way. Here's an encounter to end it with from Wyoming. My roommate, a guy we'll call him Jim, spent his high school years in a little town in eastern Wyoming. I can't recall the name of the town, but it was the kind of place that most people had forgotten about since the trains had stopped coming through. It was a very weird little town, and most of the people living there seemed to be very paranoid. A lot of parents would not let their children play outside after dark, and all unfamiliar faces were regarded with suspicion. Since the town was miles away from the nearest McDonald's or movie theater or shopping mall, there was nothing for young people to do but get shit-faced drunk. And that's what Jim and his friends were planning to do the night the story takes place. A fellow classmate was having a kegger at his parents' house that night, which was 20 miles out of town on a dirt road somewhere. Jim had reservations about driving out there in the dark because that general area was known to be sort of creepy at night, but his friends really wanted to go, and he was the only one with a car. So after some coaxing, Jim and about 5 of his friends piled into his Buick and headed out of town. About a half an hour later, they realized they were lost. They couldn't find the road that they were supposed to turn onto, and it's too dark to read any of the signs. They haven't seen any houses or cars for a while, so they figured they must have taken the wrong turn somewhere and decided to head back to the main road. After turning the car around and driving in the opposite directions for a few miles, Jim spots something in the middle of the road up ahead. His friend in the passenger seat notices at the same time and says, "What the fuck is that, dude?" At first they can't tell what they're looking at, but as the car draws nearer to the big black shape in the middle of the road, it starts to look like a mass of fur. Jim thinks it must be an animal, but it looks big enough to do damage to his car, so he slows down and stops the car about 20 feet away from this creature. At this point, it's completely illuminated by its headlights, but neither he or his passengers can figure out what the hell it is. Since it hasn't moved, they assume it must be dead and start to argue who will drag it to the side of the road. That's when the thing starts to move. They all fall silent and watch as it stirs, then suddenly stands up. Jim always prefaces the next part of the experience with, "I know this is going to sound crazy, but..." He says he can't really describe what he saw because he had never seen anything like it before. The closest he can come with the thing, whatever it was about 7 feet tall when it rose to its full height. It was shaped like a male human, but it was covered in thick, dark fur. The head, he said, and I watched the goosebumps break out on his arms as he said it, was not human. It almost looked like a jackal with a long snout pointed ears, and its eyes were glowing in the headlights the way a cat's eyes sometimes glow. It was staring at them. Jim doesn't know how long he stared back at this thing before he noticed that it was clutching a dead rabbit in one of its enormous hands. He had barely time to register this bit of information when the creature suddenly flung the dead rabbit away and took a step towards the teenagers in the car. Everyone screamed, and Jim slammed the car into reverse, made a U-turn, and got the hell out of there. That's kind of creepy. Weird, creepy little town. And you've got this very aggressive creature. I mean, these kids are in a car, and this creature throws its meal away to possibly, or hoping in its demented mind, that it will be able to eat these kids or do whatever. Very aggressive creature, which only leads me to believe that whatever else is out there is just as aggressive. It's very, I don't believe Wyoming has a high populace. Not a small one, but there's a lot of area there where people don't live. And this encounter just shared that. So, I don't know. Just be safe out there, guys. Always watch your six. Always be prepared. Follow the Boy Scout motto. Be prepared. Carry bear spray. Carry a firearm if you can. Carry 2. Fuck it. But always let someone know where you're going. Always keep an eye out. And try to familiarize yourself with where you're going before you go, so you don't end up a statistic. Because that's all we are to our government, is a fucking number. We're just a number. Just like I said a while back, they don't care about us. They care about their family and the money that they can bring in. That's all we are. Just a number, guys. Not to me, you're not, but I don't really matter, because to the government, I don't matter either. So, anyway. With that, I gotta bid you farewell. I get really depressed when I talk about these things. It really bothers me that our government doesn't care about us like they should. So, be safe, be kind to each other, and see ya!